Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Zafi Azrai bin SD Muhammad Jumhuri. Today, me and my friend will present about this topic, stamping process bracket. Still stamping process bracket. But the first, I will to explain this introduction to steel stamping process bracket. Next slide. Uh, I will explain the detail about the objective the project. First one is improving safety, and the second increasing efficiency, and the third meet industry standard, and the last is performance enhancement. This is the objective of our project. This next slide. Creating a I will explain about the creating a bracket battery component into multiply step. Uh, Next slide. But the first one is design. Design is to create the bracket battery component based on the unique need to size of the battery to be contained. The second is material selection. Determine the several state is variable, and next is mechanical strength necessary, then electrical conductivity if required on the product, and then environmental concern. Um, the next is manufacturing products. Producer can using CNC or turning, stamping or bending. The next slide, I will present about the detail of the fabricate the component. The first one is prepare the material supply. Second is measurement and sketches for the battery bracket using the real measurement. Third is blanking. Blank that match the battery bracket required dimension. Four is using a cutting tool to cut small and difficult part. And five, drilling. Use the drill the material to make a hole. The hole in the material will be produced well. The sixth is forming. Male punch the female cavity of the die together, applying in pressure to the sheet metal. The next slide is I will continue this explanation. Number 7 is lancing. Lancing is cut along the three side and keep one side connects to the sheet. 8 is bending. Bend the side of the material to get the shape of the bracket. 9. Trimming. Cut to form the shape of the edge of the mold piece. And the last, finishing and the bearing. The battery bracket may have sharp edge or burr that need to be removed. That's all of for my explanation part of the product of our project. I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
My name is Muhammad Reza bin Nasrun. I want to present about flowchart for stamping processes. Here we have 8 processes about the stamping. The first is material supply, and then measurement and sketches, blanking, drilling, forming, lancing, bending, and the last one is finishing. After finishing, when we find the fault and defect, we go back to the material and we go step by step like the flowchart. The next slide is 3D drawing, parts and assemblies. So the first 2 pictures is assemblies, and then the other pictures is screw, stick and bracket. This is the part of the bracket battery. In assemblies we have 1 bracket, 2 screws and 2 sticks. And then this is a 2D drawings, parts and assemblies. So the first is assemblies drawings, and then screw, bracket, and stick. In these 2D drawings, we have top view, front view, and right view. Next slide is discussion. Design of bracket battery. First, we have material selection, and then cutting, forming, joining, and finishing. And then designing a battery bracket requires careful consideration of the following factors. We have the size and weight of the battery, the materials used, and then the manufacturing process. So the following are some of the steps involved in designing a bracket battery. First, gather the necessary information, create a preliminary design, refine the design, and then create the final design. And last one, you produce the bracket. Okay, we go to the next presenter, Aiman Rashid.
Okay, my name is Muhammad Nur Aiman. Okay, now I want to continue the slide. Here are some additional tips for designing a battery bracket. The first thing, use CAD software to create the design. Number 2, test the design. Use high quality materials. Consider the aesthetic of the bracket. Get feedback from engineer and other stakeholders. Okay, this is the sum of the most common steel used for battery brackets. We use the low carbon steel, high tensile steel, stainless steel, and this is the process of steel stamping for bracket battery. The step of the steel stamping process for a bracket battery, the first thing, blanking, then punching, bending, embossing, flaging, and finishing. The process blanking experimentation, a sheet of steel is placed on the lower die of the stamping press. Number 2, the upper die is lowered into the most of metal. Number 3, the upper die has a cut off that is the same shape as the desired bracket. Number 4, when the upper die is lowered, it forces the sheet of the metal through the cut out, cutting out the desired shape. The waste material is ejected from the press and the blank bracket is removed from the steel. And now we would like to invite Sophie to continue the slide.
Okay. Hello, my name is Raja Sofia Ashikin binti Raja Afindi. Now, I would like to present about punching process for a battery bracket. Okay, the first step is a sheet of steel is placed on the lower die of the stamping press. The second point is the punch is lowered onto the sheet of metal. Third, the punch has a sharp tip that is the same diameter as the desired hole. When the punch is lowered, it forces the sheet of metal through the die, creating the hole. The waste material is ejected from the press. And the last point is the punch bracket is removed from the press. Okay, next, I would like to present about process bending explanation. A sheet of steel is placed on the bending machine. Second, the bending die is lowered onto the sheet of metal. Third, the bending die has a V-shape cutout that is the same shape as the desired bend. The fourth step, if lowered, is force the sheet of metal to bend around the cutout. The last point is the bend bracket is removed from the bending machine. Now, process embossing explanation. First, a sheet of steel is placed on the lower die of the embossing press. Second, the upper die is lowered into the sheet of metal. The third point is the upper die has a rise or indented design that is same shape as desired embossing. The fourth step is creating the embossed or intended pattern. The last point is the embossed bracket is removed from the embossing press. Process flanging explanation. First, a sheet of steel is placed on the lower die of the flanging press. Second, the flanging die is lowered onto the sheet of metal. Third, the flanging he has a cutout is the same shape as the desired flange. Fourth, when the flanging die is lowered, it forces the sheet of metal to conform to the shape of the die, creating the flange. The last point is the flange bracket is removed from the flanging press. Process finishing explanation. Deburring. This step removes any sharp edge or burrs that will create during the stamping process. Second, cleaning. The step removes any dirt, oil, or contaminant from the surface of the bracket. Surface treatment. This step applies a protective coating to the surface of the bracket. And the last point is inspection. This step ensures the bracket meets all the quality requirements. Okay, the conclusion is the objective of this product is to achieve. Okay, that's all. Thank you.